Okay. Here we are. We're going to explain. Here we are. We're going to explain some of the easiest skill build to do. Some of you guys have wanted to build a skill build that has to do with being able to run a legendary. Now I'm going to put this together just to show you how quick it can be. And one of the easiest max skill builds to put together is a hardware build, because you can, the hardware comes with just one roll. So as you can see, the other roll here is for your mod slot. So when you look at a hardwire, you can roll any skill that you need to be on your in your recalibration station. So as long as you have your recalibration station all maxed out, which is one of the things you should really work on to begin with, you can roll whatever you need to. So we're going to go heavy on damage, because we're going to be using things like demolitionist, artillery hive, uh, the artillery turret, the regular turret, striker drone. These are things that's going to do sustained damage. So we're going to be all about trying to do much skill damage and damage in general. So this 4-piece hardware is going to give us a feedback loop.
Good to see you.
And what that does is, once you use or cancel a skill, when we cancel it, it kind of helps the other skill do more damage. So when we're pulling that drone back, then we throw out our turret. Our turret's going to, for the next 20 seconds, is going to be 10% more damage.
Hey, you looking for something special?
And that can happen every 20 seconds. Well, both of those last pretty long, so that works pretty good. That's got pretty good synergy together. So again, all you need is any hardwired knees, gloves, holster, and mask. And then it would help to have some really good mods to throw in here. I have some haste mods, or even a duration mod would be good. Let's see what we got, if we got anything better on this character. Let's see here. There you go. 11.7 skill haste. So that kind of bumps that up. Now here we want to go with Overwatch. Now I know it's not Alps. What we normally would like to have in here is a wyvern Overwatch on your backpack. And the reason why is the wyvern is going to give you that 10% skill damage.
Anything I can do for you?
If you can roll the you have skill damage on it, that's 20% more skill damage. With either like skill haste. So ultimately, you would love to have this chest with wyvern, skill damage, skill haste. Throw your mod on here, whatever that could be. So let's go with another. We'll just get some more skill haste on there real quick. So again, ultimately you would love to have damage, but those are really hard to find, if not impossible. So the skill haste we can get from our mods to, again, bring those things back as soon as possible. That's almost 11. So there we go. So the combined arms is good. but the key thing here is China Light. China Light's going to give you 15% more explosive damage. You have your skill damage on top of that. Again, we would rather have like skill haste and skill effects per se, but those can come in handy. There's also perfect arms. In that, it does even a little bit more, a little longer. So again, just adding some shots. This is not as key as some of the other ones because you're not going to be shooting as much. Kind of like tech support here. So you can go with you could go with tech support instead. Um, this wyvern wouldn't be so bad. It's 25% for 20 seconds longer, and then you could roll like the skill haste uh, or even the armor regeneration. You could run into skill damage, and then you could have this one as your China Light. So the combination here is Wyvern and Copper Light, Wyvern and China
Oh,
Light.
hello.
Now on your skills, you're going to change your skills depending on what it is. Now remember, because you're running demolitions, you can run this artillery hive, and you can see it's going to do 3.2 million damage, and that's not when it's in overcharge. Okay, so it can really just melt things. So what we want to do is we want to
You need to craft something?
put some more uh, mods on here. So let's go with we want the last 13 seconds more. We want to cool down quicker. Let's go with
Hey,
heat.
you looking for something special?
And we'll get that extra mortar round in there. And this is geared more for being that mortar build. So we're going to have 10 mortars being able to pump out over 3 million damage. Remember, that's also going to make it bleed, so that's also an advantage as well. And here we want to go with the Seekers, because again, remember, we're explosive, and those are really do well on getting the crowd control. And remember, you're going to get more for using that Overwatch hiding, staying hidden, because in the legendaries, you're going to pop that head out, it's going to get knocked off. So, yeah, you want to be very careful on how many times you peek your head out. So this has all got damage, 1+1 cluster mine. Let's make sure we can bump that up to 4.2. This one, this Russian doll protocol in this position is really awesome. It's hard to find. And the cluster mines is what you're going to find over here.
Anything I can do for you?
So let's bump that up to a level 40. I don't know if that makes any difference. We'll even go with the phosphorus ingredient. Seems to be the same thing, but just sounds neater, right? So that's what we're going to do here. Now, what we want up here is, this is on my other character, but we want perfectly in sync harmony. That's going to add 40% more damage for us, doing damage and shots. So as long as we're putting a shot up there every six seconds on a target, do a blind cover, just pop up, take a shot, go back down, let all your other stuff work. It's going to keep going up. So let's see what we got over here in the toolbox. and our little cache. We'll have a mechanical and we'll stick that in there, and we're looking for the harmony, which I think is on my other accounts. I don't know if I have a backup harmony over here. And again, any of you that's followed, there we go. There's a harmony. So we'll go ahead, move that over there. And we'll pump this harmony over there. Now what this is going to do is, let's read this right here. It is going to grant us 20% skill damage when we damage a enemy by shooting them. When using a skill, just using a skill, or damage an enemy with a skill grants 20% more weapon damage. So as long as we're shooting them, we get 20% skill damage. And as long as we're using skills, we get 20% extra weapon damage every 5 seconds. But check this out at the bottom. Skill damage increases are doubled when both are active at the same time. So as long as we shoot, throw the Pokeballs, that's 40% more skill damage. And the next time we pop up to take that shot, it's 40% more weapon damage. There's really not much more in the game. Now, you can also back this up with running a mechanical animal, which when you get you got to kill them with a weapon though. So you got to kill them with this weapon. So when you get something down low and it's real low, you can pop up with that mechanical animal. Now, reason why I don't run mechanical animal as much in legendary is because it really commits you to jumping up there, because this is a assault rifle. So you're going to be pop, 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 pop. And when you're doing that, you got your head up, or you're blind firing, and that's going to not be very accurate. And so you're not going to get as many weapon kills. Remember, it's a weapon kill, not your skill kill. Your skill kills are going to do the majority of your damage. Now, what you want to team up with in this build is, if you're going to run artillery turret, you want at least 2 of your other buddies running a regular turret. And here's why. You have a lot of incoming drones, incoming artillery, any kind of inbound explosives or fast movers. You want those regular turrets to be able to take the load and try to shoot that stuff out of the air. Kind of work like the Fairlux system that the Navy developed. Shoot down any incoming hostile intent things coming in at you that could knock you out of cover, could blow you up. These are things that this assault turret can really handle. I like using 2 of them. That leaves your 4th person either to run a healer build and concentrate on his healing, or they can maybe run a sniper turret, which really does some high damage. But this artillery, especially in an area where you can pop off some tight area of impact, like especially like the DCD, but you got to worry about lobbing it up too far and hitting other objects. So you got to take it all into account. Out in wide open spaces, this artillery turret can really help you. But with both, the thing is, with the artillery turret, you can kind of put it on your, like the big guys, the chungas, stuff like that, and you kind of let it do its work while you're working on something else, your shots, your heals, whatever you need to work on. But the artillery turret, that requires you to always paint the area and know where your next target's going. And sometimes it can be a little contrary getting that shot off. The other disadvantage of this, if you're not very careful with this, you can lay the artillery right on yourself. Now, you can't kill your teammates, but you can definitely kill yourself with your own artillery turret. So remember that. Everybody that seems to be, I'll say every average player, I'm sure there's some great players out there that have never blown themselves up, but for the average player, if you haven't blown yourself up once or twice, you probably haven't played with the artillery turret very much. So that is the explanation of how to build this in. How to build a very fast, effective, legendary build. You're not going to have to hunt at a very high level to get these hardwire pieces. You can either craft them or you could just go out and find them. Um, but once you find them, it doesn't matter what level you find them on, they're going to be viable because you can just roll that over. Again, it all has to depend on one of the other things that hopefully you've done. Now, if you're a brand new player, you probably don't have this advantage, but when you come over here to your recalibration station and you maxed out your recalibration library, as you can see here, 12 of 12, everything's maxed out. So anything that I want to roll, you can roll on there. So when you get that rainbow gear that you're going to trash, but there's something in there that's max, save it, come back here, and uh, make sure you're maxing out your calibration station. That's really key. Um, your talents, yeah, if something is really low and it's a talent you need, bring it back here and donate instead of just trashing it. But you want your recalibration station all maxed out as much as possible. Now, some of these are kind of glitched out. They show that they're not maxed out, but they really are. You know, here it says, 7 of 3. Here it shows it isn't maxed out, but when you try, it won't do it. And there's some glitches in the game. Surprise, surprise. But I'm not hating on the game.
Good to see you.
I'm quite the opposite. This is a game I dearly, dearly love, and I think it's just an awesome game. So let's go down here for the rest of the build. We'll go down here. We got it on heroic, all the directives. Okay, and what we're going to do is put this on medium. And we're going to throw this down here. And we're going to put that right there, and we're going to shoot away. And then we're going to throw our Pokeball. And everything killed in less than 7 seconds. The whole party. The whole kit and caboodle. Now, again, if you're not careful, and you put this a little too close, let's see if we can do it. Okay. Right here. If you put that thing too close, you can actually hurt yourself. So, be very careful of that. There you go. Now, when you look at your target, you can see down there, see your little blocks? Like there's the damage, there's the combined arms, there's the, see that proccing? And then you throw this out. And we're out of ammo. Because we're doing it on the road. So, but that's kind of overview of what you can do. That's the down and dirty of the build. Real simple. The hardest thing to get is farming for your China Light and your Wyvern, as you can see, because what you want to do is you want to find that one, the Wyvern that has got maxed out damage, and you can roll the Overwatch on it, or you can or China Light. So China Light and Wyvern are the key things here. Again, this is Alps. This is not the key. This is not the uh, fastest thing here. But again, you want Overwatch over anything else. Then you want damage, and you definitely would rather this be either Wyvernware or China Light, and then you'll want the opposite over here in your backpack, and you can go with combined arms. But I really think tech support uh, might even be a better option there. So now let's look at our stats. Let's switch that over there. Again, your perfectly in sync is doing 146,000. You got 67 percent crit damage, only 10% crit chance. Again, this is a skill build, not a crit build. So we can improve this because this is we can change this to AR, which we do back there. But where we really start seeing where we want to go is the skill builds down here. So when we get down to our turret, artillery turret, 2.8% damage right now with me changing that, and the Pokeballs are doing 2.5. So let's go back to where it was, where I had the China Light, and we'll see the difference. Now it's up to 3.277. So you can see the difference between the China Light and the Wyvern is big, especially when you have all these bells and whistles on there, because you have 15% explosive damage and your skill damage on top of that. And even though it's combined arms. So your China Light's a must. And then again, your Wyvern over here. So if we had Wyvern with skill damage and Overwatch, it would even be beefier than that. And what you can do is when you run through your legendary, which what your job is to handle with the artillery turrets those mass groups of concentration, um, uh, 2 or 3, 4 people, and put that uh, shot right on top of them. It's not as big on taking out like the bigger tanks or the dogs, but it can do as much damage. Now your Pokeballs, as we call them here in our clan, you know, I pick you, Pikachu. Looks like a Pokeball. You know, you throw it out, you capture. Anyway, your cluster bombs, your cluster mines, you throw those out, and again, you're throwing potentially 10 out at a time. And on legendary, it's not unheard of to have 10 targets and to throw that as far as you can out in the middle of that group and just watch it devastate. And if you have 3 and 4 skill builds, throwing these out, it makes short order of these guys real quick. Your turrets, your assault turrets are going to keep you protected. So again, if you have nobody running assault turret, you need to change this artillery turret back to assault turret because you really need that cover of the blocks. So you need 4 4-part hardwired China light wyvern, and you're perfectly in sync. Now over here, what I like to run in my exotic slot is a lullaby or a sweet dreams. And the reason is when you get those purples and reds that push you a little bit too hard, you can pop up when they get real close. You can pop up, whip out that sweet dreams, and just put them to sleep, and they're long since gone. So this lullaby, and it doesn't matter if it's a basic lullaby, anything. So what you do is you put this on in your build, and then have that. Now, I also recommend that you have backups of different weapons, because there's a point in some of these where you're going to put out so many bullets down range, you're going to run out of bullets. Well, you carry enough bullets for your AR, and then you carry a different amount for rifles, and you carry a different amount for marksmanship rifles, different amount for LMGs. So a good thing to do is when you're getting ready to go into legendary is kind of have uh, an example of each one of these. Uh, so you can run your, say, throw a Nevid on there, you can throw your Diamondback on there as a rifle. And if you have a backup of in sync with a different weapon, like your AR or something like that, you can back that up so you're not running out of your in sync. You can't run another perfect in sync on a different weapon, because that only comes uh, the way it does. So So there it is, down and dirty. One last look. You have all this. Make sure you're using regular grenades, and the difference is when you use the cluster grenade that goes with demolitionist, you get about 500,000. You get one extra grenade, but you get one less grenade. It does allow the team to bleed when they're caught in the blast radius. But here with the concussion dates does over 3 times as much damage, and you're going to get that extra grenade. So you're going to get an extra grenade, and you're doing 1.758 million damage per grenade versus less than just under 500,000 with the fragmentation grenade. And you're not running uh, skill a skill effects build, so it's not going to help you. The bleed's not going to make up for the pure explosive damage of your weapon. And then, of course, your main weapon, um, right now, the way it's geared is 2.7 million. So when you pop that off, you can take out an area of coverage. I usually use this as kind of a sweeper technique, because for one, if you don't use it very often, and when you're down to 2 or 3 people to clear the room, this is a great thing to pop up and just, pop off a few shots, especially if you see a bunch of specialty grenade ammo laying there for you to pick up. If you're full, it's just wasted anyway. So why not pop off a few shots? So you can pop, 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 and there's potentially 7 million damage on 2 or 3 targets real quick within 5 meters of each other. So, especially in confined space, it's real good. But again, just like the artillery turret, you can blow yourself up using this. And I don't really spec on too much on the handgun. You can go with Spike, I guess. Well, you can go with Spike. The one that comes with Demolitionist. See, the Max 9 not to come with Demolitionist. It's all about making the skill damage better. So if you had a gun that had Spike on it, which this one does, so this one doesn't have perfect Spike on it, but it has Spike, so that's why I have it that way. So the headshots with this gun grant 20% skill damage for 15 seconds. So if you got somebody that's close enough for a handgun, you're probably in trouble anyway. But if there's any way you can pop off that headshot, throw the Pokeball out, it does 3 million damage. Well, instead of doing 3 million damage because you shot him in the head with this gun, you're going to do that 20 more skill damage on 20% more skill damage. So it's going to be 3.6 million. Makes a little bit of difference. But again, you really want to sacrifice that with what you can do with the Harmony. It's only you've got to shoot something every 5 seconds to get 40% skill damage. So your 40% skill damage you're getting here for shooting them and damaging them. So your turret is doing damage. Then you throw your Pokeballs with the 40% skill damage on that Pokeball that you've now thrown out that's energized from getting hits on both your skills and your gun, you're doing 40% more damage. So say you're doing 3 million damage, 40% of that is another 1.2. So now that Pokeball is now doing 4.2 million damage versus 3 million damage, and times 10 if you have that many targets. And again, if you have 2 or 3 people doing the same kind of thing, at that point, running this harmony and running a skill build, you can see where not too many groups are going to withstand your group. You're going to be pumping out uh, Pokeballs that are doing 4 or 5 million damage at 10 different targets, and then the next guy throws his, it's the same 10 targets or maybe more spawns up that take another 4 or 5 million damage, and then the third guy. There's not going to be many reds or many purples in Legendary that's going to survive that, and now you're down to your yellows, and there's not going to be too many of those that aren't close to dying. So you'll be able to make short order of those and move on. In Legendary, stay in the cover. Again, remember your key is letting your skills do the work because you're also getting the 12% weapon and skill damage here. So just pop up or blind cover your shot, so you can proc your harmony, and you're still staying in cover, and you can add that 12%. And this increases your allies as well. So you don't need everybody running this Overwatch. You need just the one guy running the Overwatch. But if you have 2, I wouldn't complain about it. One will overlap. They don't build up on each other, so you don't get 12 times 2. But if one's working and the other one isn't working, um, or one person's down, and you still have the Overwatch. So I don't care so much about redundancy because the other option in this is to run the sacrifice. Now it's going to amplify all damage by 30%, but you better not even risk stepping up because now instead of doing the 12%, you're doing 30%. But if you stand up, you already probably can get hit for by a sniper over 1 million. Well, you almost double that, and there's no way you're surviving. So perfect cannon basically makes you a one-hit wonder. If you get shot at all, you're down, and now the team is down that weapon. So if you do run this, and you can run this in perfect glass cannon, remember you want to roll your core attribute into skill build, because again, you want that skill build to stay as 6 or better. And if you have a healer that has BDSU gloves, he can put you in overcharge every 2 minutes, and that even does even more phenomenal damage. Um, as you can see over here, when you look at these skills and you see that the mortar blast rate is 50%, but when you put that in overcharge, it's going to increase to 75% blast radius, and it's going to do 47.5 more percent damage when you're in overcharge. And you're going to get those 10 extra mortar ammos in overcharge. So it just, which is versus the 6 from 6. So you're going to get those 4 extra shots, and 40% on top of 3 million. That's going to put that up to more like 4.5 million per shot, and you're going to get 4 more shots. So as you can see, this is really phenomenal, and if you use this with a good team, be patient, kind of know where to attack each one, this makes legendary a lot easier. Now again, when you have other guys that are running this skill build, so say if you have somebody that's running the artillery skill build, you can change your specialty weapon to like the minigun or the flamethrower crossbow. The crossbow is good for the point where you can do a lot more skill damage with the crossbow, but it's easier for them to evade. So you could definitely wipe out some stuff with the crossbow, the specialty crossbow, and the bonuses you get uh, uh, synergize well because your demolition is giving you the out of cover damage. So there you go. Easy to put together, or the one of the easiest builds, so you don't have to shop forever to get that triple god roll, perfect roll slot. The hardware is real easy to get that one slot and roll the skill damage on there, and then get the hardest things to get are your perfectly in sync that is god rolled like this. So you want at least a double god roll of what you want, and then roll your whichever your weakest point is on it, or have a triple god roll with any talent on there, and then roll in uh, your talent. Now, again, your perfect in sync is always going to be this harmony. It comes on no other thing. So it's going to be this, and you want your harmony to be very good. And you can get these. I think I got most of my real high harmonies from my caches. Uh, Opening achievements for leveling up, for matching major skills. Of course, the higher your watch is until you get to 11, of course, you get this all maxed out. So I usually don't go over this, but for some of you that have lesser, don't have that 1,000 yet, what you're going to want is concentration on your skill damage, skill haste, skill duration. Your skill repair is going to be the last thing you want to worry about um, on this kind of build. The skill repair is more for the medic skill build, stuff like that. And of course, your handling, you're going to want um, accuracy, ammo capacity, reload speed, all help you. Uh, Over here, the last thing you want is health. Health does really help you in this game. Hopefully they'll get rid of it. Your hazards protection is always good to have. So your and explosive protection for when you do get danger close can help you. Over here on your, I like going with weapon damage, and then I'm more headshot guy, but headshot probably crit damage is probably the best to go with. Um, and having that build in 10% crit chances also good. But again, this is a skill build. We're not going to concentrate as much on a weapon. We do want to get those shots in, but that's it. So there kind of goes over the watch as well. And that's it. We've covered everything here. And this is your hardwire explosive build that is great to run in Legendary. So there you go.